writing right? Welcome, Jan Jones. So, would you like to tell us about your major writing highlight?
My major writing highlight? Well, first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for this, because as far as I'm concerned, it feels like lunchtime already. So, cheers. Cheers to the Romaniacs.
Cheers to you, our organiser.
And it's cold and it's warm. Actually, the main writing highlights is joining the conference for the first time in York in 2000, and I walked straight into the conference, and everybody was so friendly and so lovely, and they treated me as a writer, and so I felt like a writer almost for the first time, and I loved it so much that I've carried on running the conference ever since, really. So that's lovely. I won the Elizabeth Goodge Prize at my second conference for short story, and then in 2005 I won the debut novel award for Stage by Stage, which was wonderful again. I've been shortlisted for shortlisted for the Love Story of the Year, which is now the Rona Rose, with all three of my regencies in separate years, not for the same year, obviously. And I now write magazine serials for Women's Weekly, and once they've been published in Women's Weekly, I then take them back, I build them up to the length that they always should have been, and I self-publish them on Kindle. So that's really what I'm working on at the moment. And the other thing I work on, of course, is the conference, so which takes up vast amounts of time. So I haven't actually written anything for the last 2 months. I put my current work away on the 30th of April, if April has 30 days, and I shall pick it up again as soon as the conference is finished. The hardest part about the whole thing is finding time. I think that's the hardest part of life, is finding time to get on with life, and also to do the other things that you really want to do, like writing, like organising. It's juggling things and it's finding the time. I do find that not sleeping helps. That's about it. So,
finally, what are you currently working on?
The thing I'm currently working on is a story called, I'm actually working on 3. The big one is called Different Rules, which is, it's not quite contemporary. It feels contemporary to me, but it's set in the 90s. So it still feels contemporary to me, but actually it's almost verging on historical now, the 1990s, which is about a really quite dysfunctional bohemian vicarage and the Maggie who grows up in it. I'm also working on a kind of a throwback 1970s serial for Women's Weekly, which has got David Bowie in. It's fabulous. It's music, which is lovely. So that's that. That's what I'm currently working on.
Thank you very much to our organiser.
Thank you very much. Cheers to your work.
It'll be action.
Okay. And well, welcome Adrienne Vaughan to the Sparkle Spotlight with the Romaniacs, and we'd like you to tell us about your major writing highlights so far.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My major writing highlight was actually to actually have a book in my hand. I'm part of an independent group of writers, again met through the RNA NWS scheme, and we're called the New Romantics Press. And we decided to take destiny into our own hands and publish our own books. And on literally my birthday, November the 25th, 2012, I held my first baby in my hands, and that was just amazing. And you get to the stage you don't realise that you don't care whether anybody reads it or not, you've just got your book, and it was brilliant, and I would not have done anything like that without the RNA.
And what would you say was the hardest part of that self-publishing process?
I think the hardest part, and that's a good question, the hardest part was realising that once you think you've written a book. I thought I'd written my book in 2010, and that wasn't ready for another 2 years. So it's the actual learning curve that as a writer you think, oh, my book's finished, but it isn't. There's the editing process, there's the going back to the mentor process, and there's the proofing process. And so it's actually realising, educating yourself as a writer, that this is the process we have to go through.
And what are you doing at the moment?
At the moment, I have now written 3 books and independently published 3 books. I have a nice following of readers and some great reviews, and now I am looking forward to finding an agent and a publisher to widen my reach. And my new book is called Scandal at the Seahorse Hotel, and that will be ready to go to my mentor. I have a mentor in the RNA, fantastic writer called June Tate, and it will go to my mentor in August, and she'll tell me what she thinks of it, and then I'll get it ready for publication on my birthday again, and I'll push it out there and see if anybody wants to publish it.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Adrienne.
you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful, thank you.
Can you read work?
Yeah.
And
And I'd love to welcome Eileen Ramsay today to our Romaniacs Sparkle Spotlight, and I'd like you to tell me about your major writing highlight first.
well, it's nice to meet you, Sue. Thank
Nice
you
to meet
for
you too.
asking me to do this, I think. The major writing highlight was actually selling my agent that I managed to get, sold the book of my heart that nobody had wanted and said would never sell. It was about a male opera singer, and it sold in Britain, became a bestseller, and in lots of places in Europe. And I still have letters from people who read that book lots and lots of years ago, and I still love it.
Fabulous. And going back over time, what would you say has been the toughest part of being a writer?
Well, nowadays, when I was teaching, I used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and write for a couple of hours, but right now with various things that one has to do and grandchildren and the rest of it, it's finding time, really, a period of time when you can actually just sit and be in your own space. That's difficult.
And what are you working on at the moment?
Well, I've just finished a contract for some sagas with HarperCollins, which was a very nice experience. And I am writing 2 books, which I have actually been writing one for 10 years. It was the one with which I won the Elizabeth Googe, and another one that I've wanted to write for a long time. And my agent, who was against one of them for quite some time because of some of the things that are in it, asked to read a bit if I had written it. And she rang me up and we had a half-an-hour conversation, and she thinks that both of them are probably going to sell sometime. So, and then I want to write books about lambs, which are outside my bedroom window for my grandchildren.
Right. Thank you very much, Eileen. Well done.